opportunity to pause within our day. We arrive on our mat, letting go of expectation, of embracing all that we have to come. But in order to embrace it, we must first recognize where we are. That requires being in the present moment, a place where we can let go of all that has happened before this moment. And let go of the expectation of what we think will come. Great way to practice this is through breath. Letting it move comfortably in and out through our nose. Letting our breath move through our belly. Begin to notice the pauses in our breath. Notice the temperature of our breath. Notice where our breath moves through our body. Remembering we can let this experience be simple or complex. What's important is that it honors who we are and what we need. Slowly bend our knees, draw our knees into our chest, give them a hug. We're going to start our practice off with some gentle movement. It's going to move into a little more moderate movement. We're placing our feet on the floor. Let's extend our right leg forward, sliding it across the mat. Turn our toes out. Bend our knee and let our left knee reach out to the side a little bit. This helps keep our hips balanced. And then lift our right knee and left knee back up. And we're going to do the same thing other side. Extending our left leg forward. Rotate our toes out. Bending our knee, slightly turn our right knee out, and then lift both legs back up. Right leg comes forward. Rotate our leg out, bending our knee, using our left leg to counterbalance. Lift our knees up. Left leg comes forward. Rotate our left leg out. Bend our knee, using our right leg to counterbalance, and come back up. This time we're going to take our right knee out to the side, let our left knee counterbalance, extend our right leg forward, Rotate our toes up and then bend our right knee. Left knee comes out to the side, right knee counterbalances. Extend our left leg forward. Rotate our left leg up and then bend our left knee. Right knee out to the side. Extend our leg. Rotate our toes up. Bend our knee. Left leg out to the side. Bend our leg. Rotate our leg. Bend our knee. Draw both knees into our chest. Give them a hug. Releasing our feet down to the mat. Let's reach our arms up to the ceiling, back behind us, keeping our shoulders down away from our ears. Lower our arms only to what feels comfortable for us. On our exhale, bringing our arms back to our side. Inhaling, reaching our arms up to the ceiling and back behind us. Exhale, bringing our arms back to our side. One more time. Inhale, reach our arms up and overhead. Exhale, bring our arms back down to our side. On our next inhale, lift our hips up off the mat, draw them up to the ceiling. Exhale, lower them down. Adjust your feet as you need. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift up. And exhale, lower down. Adding arms and hips. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. Inhaling, lifting up. Exhale, lower down. One more time. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. From here, cross your right leg over your left. Let your right knee relax forward. Lift your left foot up off the mat. Draw your legs towards your chest. Let your arms stay relaxed out. Lower your left foot down. And then lift your left foot back up on your exhale. Inhale, slowly lower down. Exhale, lift. And lower. Release our right foot down to the mat. Left foot lift. Cross your ankle over your right thigh. Let your left knee come forward. On your next exhale, lift your right foot up off the mat. Keep your knee in line with your hip, so don't let it drop into the midline of your body. Lower your right foot down. And on your next exhale, lift your right foot back up. Exhale, lower down. And inhale, lift back up. And lower down. Releasing our left foot down to the mat. Walk our feet out wide. Lower our knees over to the right. Lift them back up. Lower them to the left. And lift. Windshield wipering our legs side to side. One more time, each side. Keeping our feet wide. Bring our knees to center, walk our feet in. Let's roll over to one side, come up to standing in front of our mat. From this standing position, find your feet pointing towards the front of your mat, hip width distance apart. Let your knees remain soft, roll your shoulders back and down. And then on our next inhale, let's reach our hands up. Exhale, hinge forward from our hips and fold. Inhale, lift halfway, flat back. Exhale, fold. Bend our knees a lot. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, hinge forward from our hips and fold. Inhale, lift halfway, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. One more time. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, fold. Hold here. Walk both feet back. Plank. Lower all the way down to the mat. Release the tops of our feet. Reach our big toes towards the back of our mat. Hug our elbows into the side of our ribs. Lengthen across our belly. Open up our chest. Turn our gaze forward. Check in that your shoulders are not hiking up towards your ears. Check in that your legs are remaining active. Then lower all the way down. Slide our hands out halfway. Come onto our fingertips. Inhale, rise up. So we're softening through the shoulder blades a little bit, staying live through our hands, staying active, and still opening up our chest. On our next exhale, lower down. Slide our hands back into the side of our chest. Inhale, lift back up. Exhale, lower down. Slide our hands out halfway. Come onto our fingertips. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, lower. And slide in. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, lower down. And slide out. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, lower down. Slide our hands back in. Hug our bellies in a lot. Press up, kneeling plank. Curl our toes under. Lift our knee, downward facing dog. Taking a moment to hold and breathe. Pedal out our feet if we like. Let our head hang. Then walk forward, front of our mat. And fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Bend our knees a lot, rise all the way up. Hands come to heart center. Shift our weight onto our left foot, lift our right heel. We're gonna step our right foot back to a warrior one. So our toes turn out slightly, our heel comes down, our front knee stays bent, our spine lifts and lengthens, our shoulders relax back and down. Take our arms out to our side, like goalpost arms. Then from here, we're gonna step forward, bringing our hands together in front of our heart. Shift our weight into our right foot, lighten the load on our left foot, step our left foot back about 1/2 to 3/4 away, but turn our toes out at that 45-degree angle. Keep your front knee bent, open up your chest. On our next exhale, bring our hands together as we step forward. Inhale, right foot back, open up our arms. Exhale, step forward. Inhale, left foot back. Exhale, step forward. Inhale, right foot back. Exhale, step forward. So as we continue to flow, moving side to side, listen to how you hold your weight through the core of your body. Keeping everything centered. Keeping our hips square to the front of our mat. Let our front knee bend as we step back so that it's helping take the weight of our body when we shift our weight into that front foot. Feel the outer hip and glutes engage when you step forward. Feel that support. Let this movement be mostly about the lower body, and the upper body is just simply tagging along. Slow, one more time each side so that you stay balanced. Then bring our hands to heart center. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, fold. Walk both feet back. Lower all the way down. Cobra, opening the front of our body. Exhale, lower down, hug our bellies in, press up and back, downward facing dog. Walk forward, front of our mat, and fold. Taking a moment to hold and breathe. Letting our breath move to the back of our body. Step our left foot back, lunge. Rise all the way up, high lunge. Bend our back knee. Lean forward halfway. Keep bending our knee and driving it down towards the mat. Feel the outer right hip stabilizing this. Now spring forward and plant your left foot. On our next inhale, sweep our hands up. Exhale, hands come down to the floor. Right foot steps back. Rise all the way up. Hands reach up to the ceiling. Bend your back knee. Lean forward. Hands can either reach forward or back or out to the side. You choose. We're going to spring forward off our back foot and plant our right foot. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, fold. Left foot steps back. Lift halfway, reach your arms back or forward. Bend your back knee. Spring forward, plant your foot. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, fold. Right foot steps back. Rise up halfway, arms reach back or forward. Bend your knee. Push off, plant your foot. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, fold. One more time each side. Left foot back. Rise up halfway. Bend your back knee. Push off and plant your foot. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, fold. Right foot steps back. Rise up halfway, arms to your side. Bend your back knee, push off, and plant your foot. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, walk both feet back. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, cobra, opening our heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. Walk forward, front of our mat, and fold. Letting our head hang, neck and shoulders relax. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, hands to heart center. From here, we're going to find a little bit of movement that requires some balance. So I want you to make sure that you keep your feet hip-width distance apart. Your arms are going to relax at your side. Bend your right knee. You're shifting your weight over to your left. Now, when you shift your weight to the left, make sure you're not pushing your hip off to the side or hiking your right hip up. You're keeping your hips level. Lift your right foot. Bend your left knee a little bit. Tap the floor with your right foot. Tap it out 45. Tap it out to the side. Tap it back 45. Tap it back straight behind you. Bring your foot in, stand up tall. Shift your weight onto your right foot. Bend your right knee a little bit. Feel your pelvis stay fairly neutral, but your tailbone's going back and it's tipping forward just a little bit. No big movement. Lift your left foot. Tap forward. 45 forward. Don't let your hips hike off to the side. Keep them hugged in. Out to the side. Back 45. Back straight behind you. Bring it in. We're going to move a little bit quicker. Bend your left knee. Shift your weight. Right foot taps forward. 45. Out to the side. Back 45. Straight back. Bring it in underneath you. Shift your weight to your right knee. You're bending your knee slightly, hinging from your hips slightly. Tap forward. 45. Side. Back 45. Straight back. Underneath you. Switch. Right foot forward. 45. Out to the side. Back 45. Straight back. Underneath you. Switch. Left foot forward. 45. Out to the side. Back 45. Straight back. Underneath you. One more time each side. Tap at your own pace, how you feel comfortable with your movement. Staying successful through your movement. Notice where your weaknesses and your strengths are. Bring it back underneath you. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, lower them both down to the mat. We're going to move our hips side to side, letting our shoulders move in the opposite direction. Come back to center. We're going to take our forearms down to the mat. Interlace our fingers or place your palms down in line with your elbows. Let your belly soften towards the floor. Open up your heart. Curl your toes under. Press your forearms into the mat. Lift out of your shoulders. Then lift your knees. Draw your hips up and back for dolphin dog. Bend your knees, let them hover above the mat. Then rise back up, dolphin dog. Bend your knees, let them hover above the mat. Rise back up, dolphin dog. Bend your knees, let them hover. Rise back up. Walk both feet back, coming into forearm plank. Lower your knees, let them tap. Lift them back up. Lower them down, tap. Lift back up. One more time, tap. And lift. Lower your knees down, lower your belly down. Open your heart to the front of your mat for Sphinx pose. Pausing and breathing. Turn our gaze to the left. Turn our gaze to the right. If we can, keep our chin parallel to the ground. Just moving our head side to side, slow and controlled. The next time we take our gaze to the left, I want you to hold. Press your right hip into the mat, slide your left knee out to the side, take a peek at the back of your mat. Let your left hip come down, gaze forward. Turn your gaze over your right shoulder. Press your left hip down, slide your right knee out to the side just a little bit. Turn your gaze back towards the back of your mat. Come back to center. Gaze over your left shoulder, press your right hip down, left knee comes out to the side, turn your gaze to the back of your mat, lengthening the right side of your body. Back to center, gaze over your right shoulder, press your left hip down, right hip slides up, gaze comes back as you lengthen the left side of your body. Come back to center. We'll kick your elbows out to the side, hands come underneath your forehead. Lift your feet and draw your heels towards your glutes. Rock your feet side to side. Massaging the front of your thighs. Coming back to center, release our feet down to the mat. Slide our hands around to the side of our chest, hug our elbows in tight, hug our bellies in, press up and back to child's pose. Letting our forehead and our elbows come down to the mat, lengthening through our low back. Extend our hands forward, spread our fingers wide. Head, pull our shoulder blades down our back. Rise up, curling our toes under. Lift our knees, downward facing dog. Come forward into plank. Downward facing dog. Right foot comes up and back. Draw our knee towards our chest. Plant our knee in the midline of our body. Turn our right foot over to the left just a little bit, not a lot. Lower your left knee down, followed by your left foot. Then I want you to lengthen across your belly. Lift your chest up and hold. Stretching through the outer right glute. Knee should be directly under the midline, so right about belly button or in line with your spine. How far your knee comes forward is completely up to you. Make sure this honors your knee. If it causes any pain whatsoever, roll over to your right hip, sweep your left foot forward. You're going to do the same position but seated. It would look like this. From this position, push your right knee into the floor and let your hips rise up. You're building strength and stability into this position. Keep pressing. If you want to make it harder, walk your hands out and back. If you want to make it even harder, lift your hands up and bring them back behind you so they're not touching the floor. Keep pushing your right knee into the mat. Hands come back down and soften. Curl our back toes under, lift our back knee. Shoulders are over our wrists. Then we're gonna step back to plank, then downward facing dog. Left foot comes up and back. Left knee comes forward into the midline of our body. Lowering down, hips stay level, lower your right knee down, followed by your foot. Lengthen across our belly, lift our heart. This encourages our pelvis to tip forward, closing the gap of our left hip, the front of our hip, while we lengthen the back of our hip. From here, press your left knee into the mat. Feel your hips press away from the floor a little bit. Should feel like work. Want to make it harder, hands come out and back. Stay light. Want to make it harder, hands come back. Thumbs rotate back so your palms start to face forward. This helps encourage the shoulder blades to move onto your back. Your chest to open, maybe shaking, and that's okay. Breathing. Hands come back down to the floor underneath your shoulders and relax. The pose may have gotten a lot more comfortable. You may have noticed a bigger range of motion in your hips. Make sure to keep the hips level. And curling our right toes under. Line up our shoulders over the top of our wrist if we made a big change. Lift your right knee, step your left foot back, downward facing dog. Let your pelvis tip forward, your tailbone rise up. Walk forward, front of your mat. And fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, fold. Right foot steps back. Lower your knee down to the mat, followed by your foot. Come all the way up, and we're going to straighten our front leg. Now, if you have any discomfort underneath your right knee, place a towel underneath your knee or fold up the right side of your mat. Hands come to your hips. Make sure they're level and that your left foot stays in line with your hip. Now flex your left foot, toes point up. Hands are going to stay on our hips to encourage our hips to stay level. Tip our hips forward until you feel a stretch in the back of your thigh. Now, if you can go down a lot and you have blocks are going to be at your side. If you're able to hinge forward a lot, they're going to come in front of you. You want your spine neutral and a curve in your low back. Now, once you find your end range of motion, you're holding for a moment. This is targeting our hamstring and the back of our calf. So pretty much the whole entire backside of our leg. From here, press your heel into the mat. Pull your heel back at about 30% effort. You may find you move deeper into the stretch, but you're doing so with strength. Keep holding, keep pressing. Maybe press a little bit harder. Keep that soft bend in your left knee so you're not locking it out. And relax. Doing that again, press your heel into the floor, pull it back. Hamstrings are one of the challenging muscles about sitting a lot. These muscles get really, really tight, mainly because they get weak. Our quads become dominant, the front of our thighs. Our hamstrings may be in a shortened position for long periods of time. And relax. Walk our hands forward, bending our front knee. You're either using your blocks or your hands. Step your left foot back, right foot forward. Rise up tall by pushing your right foot into the mat. Again, if you need any padding for your left knee, feel free to add it. Make sure your right foot is in line with your body. Straighten your leg. Keep a micro bend in your knee. Then flex your foot. Let your pelvis tip forward by letting your tailbone drop back, like you're trying to point it towards the back of your mat. Feel that curve of your low back. And walk your blocks forward. You can take your hands to your right leg, but be very mindful that you don't push into your knee. You don't hyperextend your knee. So if you can let your hands rest on your leg without pushing your knee down, you have that option. Now actively push your foot, your heel into the mat and pull it back. You're pushing against the floor, something that can't move. Creating strength through a lengthened hamstring. And relax. And again, push your heel into the floor, pull it back, even though you're actually not moving it. Just feels like you're pulling it back. Keeping the curve of your low back, the length of your spine. You should feel this through the back of your thigh. Maybe in your calf if that feels tight too. and relax. Walk your hands or blocks forward. Bend your right knee, sweep your right knee back. Come to an all fours position. We're going to draw our hips back towards our heels, keeping our chest lifted, and then come back up. Curl our toes under. Draw our hips back towards our heels. You're now stretching the bottom of your feet, encouraging flexion of your ankles. Rise back up. Return the tops of your feet back to the mat. Draw your hips back. And rise back up. This time we're going to walk our hands back towards our knees, rise up onto our knees. Again, add any padding by folding up your mat to your knees if you need it. Keep the tops of your feet on the mat. We're going to slowly draw our hips down towards our heels. Feel the hinge at our hips, so the length across our quads. Grabbing a seat on our heel at our range of motion. Now, if this is really tight and you have a block, place it behind you in between your ankles. You can do the same thing with a full-size bath towel, maybe placing that on top of your calves to help elevate. Then I want you to push your ankles into the floor. Feel your hips rise up a little bit more. Feel the front of your thighs begin to work. Push a little bit more, coming up a little bit taller. Push up a little bit more. Feel your legs rotate in. Then slowly hinge forward from your hips. You're going to take your hands down to the floor, walk forward. And then we're going to step our left foot forward. From here, walk your foot forward to a place that's comfortable for you. We're stretching across the front of our right thigh. Now, if you have blocks, place them underneath your right hand. Take your left hand to your thigh. Let your hips soften a little bit more. If you don't have blocks, use a bath towel, a pillow, anything that's handy that you can place underneath your hand that will hold you up taller. And from here, lift your right foot up off the mat. If your foot is accessible, take your left hand, reach back, grab a hold of your foot. If your foot is not accessible, I want you to back up to a piece of furniture, whether it be the wall, a couch. In this case, I'm going to use a couch. Placing your foot on the couch, walk your knee as close to the couch, wall, whatever you have, your furniture, then step your left foot forward. Rise up once you get to your variation. Now, the beauty about using a piece of furniture is that you can keep your foot flat instead of a piece of, or a wall or something that's taller or flatter that's going to make your toes point. You can have forearms on your thigh. Make this comfortable for you. And take your hands back down to the floor. You're going to lower your left knee down, walk your hands forward, release your right foot back down to the mat, and stay where you are next to your furniture. You're going to grab a seat back on your heels. Push the tops of your feet into the mat. Slowly rise up, feeling your legs rotate in. And then come forward. Hands are going to come down to the floor. And then you're going to lift your left knee, drop back towards your furniture, lower it down. Come up tall onto your fingertips or use blocks. Remember, they come in different heights. Find those options that work for you. Step your right foot forward when you're ready. Bring your knee over the top of your ankle you're holding here. Option to come up to your front thigh. Option, forearms on your thigh. Remember, you're moving into this slowly and comfortably. Slowly bring our hands back down to the floor. Lower your right knee down. Crawl forward. Come back to your mat. And then we're going to grab a seat in the center of our mat. We're going to move into Shavasana. So if you have a towel or block, place them underneath your knees. And then we're going to lower down onto our back. Let our arms come out, palms facing up. Make sure that your back is comfortable. Shoulder blades flat on the mat. Your palms turn up to help encourage the opening of your shoulders. Closing our eyes. body. Inviting movement into our fingers and our toes, our hands and our feet, our wrists and our ankles. Bending our knees one at a time. Draw our knees into our chest. Give them a hug. Rolling over to our right side. Keeping our eyes closed, press ourselves up. As we find our way back to a comfortable seat, check in with how we feel. Bringing our hands together in front of our heart, feeling in this opportunity to move, to check in with our body, to feel awkward, to feel challenged, to have opportunities of letting go. Take all of that as a gift that we place in our heart that help us find the strength, the durability, and the ease to move forward through our days to come. Namaste.